name is Mrs. Beach. I'm the Youth First Social Worker at West Elementary, but today I'm here to talk to all of you. We are going to talk about Why Try. Why Try is a group that we do starting in kindergarten going all the way up to 8th grade. Why Try focuses on resiliency, growth mindset, decision making, and goal making. So some really important things. We are going to go through each lesson together. During the lessons, I would really like to encourage you to pause the video at any time to have conversations with your child or as a family about some of the questions that I may ask. Also, in some of the videos, we will do activities together as I would do them in a group setting. But for some of them, the activities will be linked so that you and your family can do them on your own time. Thank you. Enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome to another lesson of Why Try. Today we're going to be talking about jumping hurdles. Do you guys know what a hurdle is? Well, as you see to the image to my left here, a hurdle is something that you jump over. We see them a lot in track and field. It's actually an event that people can train for and do. So when you look at the hurdle, you think, is that something that I could jump over? Well, I can tell you that people who do jump hurdles as part of their track and field practice don't just do it right away. That's something that they train for. It's something that they learn how to do. So the way that we're going to talk about a hurdle is kind of something that's in your way, something that you have to jump over to achieve your goals. So before we get any further into this, let's talk about our vocab words today. The first word is hurdles. We just kind of talked about that one. It's something that is standing between you and what you're trying to achieve. The second one is identify. When you identify something, it's that you're noticing it and you're saying what it is and how that it's working with you or against you in what you're trying to achieve. The next word is problems. Problems are things that are, again, kind of in our way from what we're trying to do. What is our goal that we're trying to achieve? And what are some things that are happening in our mission to achieve that goal that might be creating some friction or making that difficult? That would be a problem. Options. Options are the choices that you have. For any goal that we set, we have different options and how we reach that goal. So it's really important to know that sometimes we'll pick this option over here and it might not be exactly what we wanted once we get into it. And that's okay. You can always switch. There are always other ways to look at your problems and to look at situations to choose different tactics to reach your goals. And the last word for today is baby steps. Baby steps are just taking very small steps towards your goal. If you have a big goal that you've set, a lot of times we're going to set a lot of smaller goals to help us get to that final destination, because we can't just go from here and then be an expert or something to reach our goals. I would like for you guys to take a second to look at the image and notice that you'll see a hurdle and you'll also see a leg with a shoe. The hurdle is labeled, it says my problem. So the hurdle is what you're identifying as the problem that you're trying to solve. So your goal is on the other side of that hurdle. So I want you to take a second and think about what that goal is on the other side of your hurdle, and then maybe identify a problem that might be the hurdle. What's something that might get in your way? Were you able to think of your goal and the problem that might try to stop you from reaching it? Good. So I want us to take a second now. Let's look at the shoe. The shoe has 6 numbers on it. Those 6 numbers are ways that you might work through that problem on the hurdle. The first one is just to identify the problem. And you've kind of already done that because you wrote it on the hurdle. It's really important to remember too that you might have more than one hurdle before you reach your goal. And that's okay, but we're going to break it down to one hurdle at a time. We don't have to solve all of our problems at once. So you've identified the problem. You know what the problem is. The next step, number 2, is to create your options. So now you're going to brainstorm. You're going to think, what are some things that I can do to help get rid of this problem that I'm having? How can I get through this? The next step is to get help. Some of your options you might be able to do on your own, and that's great. But remember, it is always okay to ask for help. We should be asking for help. We achieve so much more when we work together as a team and when we plug into those people in our lives that we know support us and can help us. The fourth number is to take action. So we've identified the problem, we've created options, we've pulled in our support system to get help, and now we have to do it. We have to solve this problem. We have to put these things into play. The next number, number 5, is believe in change. It's really hard to solve these problems and to move forward in your goals if you have a lot of self-doubt. If you're telling yourself, oh, this isn't going to work, I don't know why I'm doing this, then you're probably going to trip over that hurdle. But if you're telling yourself, this can work, if you really truly believe that you are the answer to this and that you can solve your problem, then you're going to be successful. Maybe not the first time, but that's okay. And number 6 says jump back up. And that is really important, guys. We all trip and fall sometimes. Everybody trips over that hurdle a few times before they reach their goals. And that is expected and it shows growth. And when you jump back up and you keep going and you think, okay, well, that solution didn't work. I didn't solve my problem that time. What else can I do? And you keep trying, you are becoming stronger and more resilient, and it'll help you be successful not only as a child, but as you move into adulthood. Those are skills that you will take with you forever, and that's really good. Okay, guys, now we're going to move on to a brief activity. This is actually one of my favorite activities that I do in my Why Try group. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give a description of a failure, and you guys are going to match it with the famous person that experienced that failure. The first one, this person was cut from their high school basketball team, but went on to become one of the greatest players in NBA history. If you guess Michael Jordan, you'd be right. And I think a really important thing to know on this one, guys, is that a lot of times in junior high or high school, when we get cut from a team, we think, that just wasn't meant for me. Maybe that's not the sport I'm supposed to play. But Michael Jordan had so much passion for basketball that he used that experience as a driving force to push him to work harder and to put in more time at the gym and put in more time in practice. And he actually goes back and he thanks that high school coach because he knows that getting cut from that team pushed him to work so much harder. The next person, while trying to start their music career, actually had a point that was so low that she was living in her car. This person is Lizzo, and I know a lot of us have probably heard, actually a lot of her music's been on the radio, but Truth Hurts seems to be the thing that really boosted her to stardom. And she'll say a lot that she feels like people think she's an overnight success, but she's not. She put in a lot of work and she had a lot of low times. And again, it's important to note that when she had those low times, she didn't say, I'm not gonna do this, this isn't for me. She said, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna make the connections, I'm gonna write the music, and she saw success because she stuck with it. And that's amazing for her, and it's an amazing lesson for you guys. The last person was fired from a newspaper that they worked at because they didn't have enough imagination. That person was Walt Disney. Can you imagine telling Walt Disney that he didn't have imagination? If you don't know who Walt Disney is, he's Disney. He is the person that created all of what we know today as Disney. Obviously, when it started, it has grown tremendously since then. But it started with him and his imagination. What if he would have gotten fired from that newspaper and taken in what they said and listened to that and let it stop him from dreaming and from putting his creativity to work? It would be really, really different than what we see today, right? With all of the amazing movies that Disney has put out for our enjoyment. One thing that I'd like to encourage you guys to do is look up some of your role models, your favorite famous people, and try to see what are some of their struggles, what are some of the things that they had to overcome to get to where they are today. You can even do it with family members, because even your role models at home, your parents, your grandparents, aunt and uncles, they all had to overcome things to reach their goals and to see success. Bye, guys.